So you're thinking about making a move to Roseburg or Oregon in general. Well, I too made that move about 8 years ago. And in this video, I'm going to give you all my mistakes that I made and some of the hidden expenses that totally blindsided me and the mistakes I made when I moved here. I'm going to share with you everything that I wish I would have done differently, and stick around till the end because I'm going to give you some of my biggest mistakes and what I would have done differently. So with that, let's get on with the video. Hey everybody, I'm Jerry Norman with Oregon Life Homes. I've been selling real estate here for the last few years and I absolutely love it. I get calls from people all the time looking to make a move here, and they ask me so many different questions. Well, in this video, I'm going to break down my move when I moved here and the mistakes that I made when taking the move here. First off, a little bit of background about myself. I spent over 20 years in the casino industry, and I grew up in Tacoma. I was working in a casino in the Seattle area and had the opportunity to make a move to the West Coast. So I did that, or had the opportunity to take a job on the East Coast. So in 2006, I made the move to Ohio, where I started working at a casino that was in West Virginia. I was living right on the Ohio border and working in West Virginia. It was a great opportunity for me. Was able to raise my daughter there. It was a great opportunity at that time. Well, when my daughter graduated high school, now it was time to move back. And I did not like Ohio. So I chose any casino which would be a lateral move for me from anywhere between the California and the Canadian border on the west side of the mountains. That was my criteria. The casino here in Canyonville in Douglas County, Roseburg, they flew me out, interviewed me over a weekend, hired me. I had 30 days to move here. Well, that being said, now I got hired on a Friday. I didn't have to fly out until Sunday afternoon. So I spent all weekend trying to find a place. My first mistake was not trying to find a place to buy. That would have been a much better option. But I was just looking for a place to rent at the time. I had a job offer letter, so it would have been the perfect opportunity. So that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. I should have been looking for a place to buy, but I didn't. So instead, I took on the near impossible task of finding a place to rent. I went to every property management here in Douglas County, got a list. I was able to look at some homes, but the one problem was they were all closed on the weekends. So that was really difficult. So the Friday, I was able to look at a couple homes. None of them were really good. And then the other thing was, it was really difficult to make that transition where renting a place from back east to Roseburg, that was just really difficult. I just happened to be talking to some people that I had run into in town and asking them if they knew of any place to rent. Fortunately, the person I was talking to said, yeah, my son's got a place that he's going to be putting up for rent. So I called him, got a hold of him. Yeah, got a place to rent, and he gave me the address, so I just drove by it, drove up the driveway. It was perfect. The house wasn't spectacular, but the opportunity was there. That being said, the date that I was supposed to start my new job was September 1st, but this place wasn't going to be ready until the middle of September. All right, so we'll find something to do in the meantime. So that being said, I went back home, packed up all my stuff, started my transfer, and what I did was I sold off a lot of my stuff. I sold a lot of stuff, and the casino here that I was going to be taking on the new job had given me a moving bonus, a moving allowance, which wasn't much, but it was enough to pay for my moving truck here. So I decided to hire a moving truck, and basically all it was going to take was some of my furniture and some of my appliances, and that was it. And we're going to get into that experience here shortly. But so what I did was I sold a lot of my stuff. I got rid of almost everything and hired the movers, and they took on my stuff and put it in storage and said, we'll have it to your new address here in a few weeks. No time frame, just whenever. Okay, that's fine. So got rid of all my stuff, made the move. Now, one of the things is we had to pay for hotels, gas, food for the whole family to move over here. That got pretty expensive. The hotels were expensive. I had budgeted for that. That was an expected cost, but still, it's expensive because it is quite a move to make that move across the country, 2,500 miles away. It's quite expensive. So we made that move. Once we got here, what we did was we were looking for a short time rental when we were here, but couldn't find one. So we ended up renting a hotel room, a normal hotel room, for a week at a time. We had friends that were in Tacoma, so during my few days off that I had, then we would go up to Tacoma for those couple weeks. But in the meantime, while I was working and starting my new job, living in a hotel. That was rough. I wish I would never have done that. That was terrible. I should have planned that a little bit better. But it happened, and that got really expensive as well. So now the time comes to move into the new house, start moving in. That's fine. And now we're waiting for the moving company. The moving company ended up taking a month after we got here, and all of our stuff was damaged. Everything was damaged. We tried to make claims with them, but it didn't work. So this particular moving company, I can't even remember the name now. I would never recommend this moving company again. They took all my boxes and threw them up against, it looked like they took all the boxes and threw them up against the wall. It was a nightmare. Then some of the stuff was missing and they had to locate it, and then it took another 2 weeks to get here. It was an absolute nightmare. So that being said, moving companies, had I have known that that was going to happen, what I would have done was completely sold everything and taken 2 cars and driven over here with 2 carloads worth of stuff. That would have made my life so much easier, but I didn't. It would have saved me a lot of money, and I would have just bought all new stuff when I got here anyway. That would have been the most reasonable way to do it. Now, I know you think just buy all new stuff. Well, I probably would have done some, thrift stores or whatever, to save money, or garage sales, whatever. It would have saved me so much time and effort had I have just gotten rid of everything and then just drove over here. That's one of the biggest things that I should have done. So should have bought a house, should have gotten rid of all my stuff, but I didn't. Next off, license fees in Oregon are really cheap when you are registering a car. It's only like $130 for the 2 years for any car, which is really, really reasonable. But if you have a car that's financed and you don't have the title, that is a lot more difficult. It was really difficult to transfer the title to the car that was financed into Oregon. It took a long time. That was just an irritating thing. But the good thing is the DMVs here, I have never waited for more than 20 minutes in line at a DMV, and that is long. So the DMVs aren't very busy and rather cheap for your license fees. And then when I got here, I didn't know the area very well. I learned the area as I went. And I met new people right away, and it was really easy to just fit in. A lot of people around here have lived here their whole lives, but they are so welcoming. My new neighbors, they really wanted to help. Really nice people. That part was really enjoyable. One of the things I was somewhat prepared for was the state Oregon tax. Now, it's pretty high compared to Ohio, where I was working. It's a little bit higher. So not much. I didn't notice it much, but that's something that you might want to take into consideration. And now we moved in September. So then the following year, so now I've been here a whole year. One thing that really stood out was the horrible fire season. That year just was really bad. All of Oregon filled up with smoke. You couldn't escape it. I mean, we went out to the coast and it was a little bit better out there, just clear air with the offshore wind, but there was smoke everywhere. That was something that was really unexpected. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest anyway, it was never like that before. If you have health concerns or if that smoke will bother you, you might want to look into it a little bit more before moving here, because that was something I did not really expect. The other thing that I was used to that a lot of people might not be is the weather. I knew it got warm here in the summertime, which it usually gets to be about 80, 90 degrees. There's a couple weeks where it gets over 100, but that's rare. And then the winter time, we don't get much snow, but sometimes there might be the sporadic winter where you get a ton of snow, but the whole city shuts down or the whole town shuts down. We did get one bad snow back in 2019. Everything shut down. I happened to be out of power for 3 weeks, which was really that was really unfortunate. That was not fun. But we got through it and just live on. But that was an extreme circumstance. I knew what the weather was like here. I knew there was the possibility of snow, but for the most part, we really don't get that much snow. And then in the summertime, we get higher 90s, 80-degree weather, 80, 90-degree weather. Fall and wintertime, it's mostly rain. Right now, it's raining. It's the beginning of November, and it's raining right now. That's just to be expected, so you get used to it. I don't own an umbrella, but you'll just go out and walk around, whatever you got to do in the rain. The biggest mistakes that I made when moving here were I should have been looking to buy a house, and I should have bought a house instead of renting. I threw away a lot of money with first month and deposit, all that stuff, and then rent throughout. I could have bought a house for what I was paying in rent. So that was my mistake then. The other mistake was I should have got rid of most of my stuff and just loaded up a truck and a car or even a U-Haul and then moved over here. That would have been so much better, but I didn't. And so those are my biggest mistakes. If you got any questions about moving here, feel free to download my relocation guide. I have packed it full of everything that would be really helpful for you if you are considering about moving here. That link is in the description below. If you are thinking about moving to this area, give me a call, text, email. I will shoot it to you straight. I am not originally from here, so I will give you the honest opinion of what I think each neighborhood is like and what I think would be the best fit for you. So give me a call, text, email, all that contact information is in the description below. And with that, you guys have a great day.